numbers of tanks that they have on base. They're talking about procedural things that they do throughout the night to keep things going at this high of altitude. And we had a little bit of a laugh of whether or not we were going to be tortured over this information as we're trying to leave.
Welcome to 10-Minute Travels. With me, as always, is Phil Freeman.
And with me, as always, is Shane Patrick. We're going to talk about motorcycle riding in India with Robert Morgan. And if you want to learn about anything else that 10-Minute Travels talks about, check us out at 10minutretravels.com.
Let's get right to it, shall we?
When we showed up in Hanle, once we got to Leh, we wanted to get to Umling-la, which is the highest motorable pass in the world at 19 feet, 19,000. And we had to go through a town of Hanle. And it's a timeless place. It's not really set up for tourism.
Well, that Hanle, I think just in the last 18 months or 2 years has opened up to tourism. Yeah. And so there's an army base on the outskirts of it. And you pull into town. The main road to get to where there's current accommodations is bull rock, like the 3 and 4 inch boulders. We call it bull rock in the construction industry, but they're in process of building hotels right now. But we went to a glamping site that had been set up.
It looked like
expand on the definition of. I'm sorry, Phil. Robert, can you expand on glamping, the definition of glamping in India?
Yeah.
How glamorous was the camping?
Oh, so glamorous. So we had this location had it did in fact have some air conditioning, and it had electricity for a few hours at night. We had a eating hall that was glassed in so that you could see the stars. But like the rest of our trip, it was raining, and it's not quite set up for waterproof. So our eating, so we had to dodge rain drips while we were eating dinner. But overall, I mean, I'd go back.
Well, those military guys showed up one night and they love that place. They go there for their entertainment. The valley takes only like 110 centimeters of rain in September, and it took 2 inches before we got there. They're not set up for that.
And overnight it was enough rain on the tent to keep me reading much later than I had anticipated anyway. Those so the military guys from the base that's outside of town come in there, and they've got so it's a couple of majors or chiefs or whatever they were, and that's their go-to. That's where their time away from base. It's where they go to have dinner, right? Because again, it's not set up with restaurants, not set up with Hanle. Not set up with restaurants. It's not set up with much accommodation for anyone. Then the generals are talking to us about, of course, this time frame is the same time that Trump's putting on a bunch of 50% tariffs on India. And so, of course, Indians aren't happy about that, and they want to talk to us about Trump. And we really don't want to talk politics with anybody except maybe Leo. And and so it's a little bit of a funny, awkward scenario. And then I feel like the generals are giving us more information that I'm a little bit worried if I'm going to have trouble getting out of the country after what they're telling about. Numbers of tanks that they have on base. They're talking about procedural things that they do throughout the night to keep things going at this high of altitude. And we had a little bit of a laugh of whether or not we were going to be tortured over this information as we're trying to leave.
That Yeah, and the funny thing too is I asked him if this was a sought out destination for a military, and they go, "Yeah, this is the number one. This is where we all want to go." And
Yeah, because I asked them
I wasn't ready for that.
if they had been punished and that's why they were up in this area. No, this is the place to be. This is where we want to go.
But they literally are ready for action all the time. That's their deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. That so Hanle was our jumping off point. We were going to go to Umling-la, which is it's not like an up and overpass, but it's towards China and it goes up to 19,000 feet and back again. It's a day ride. And it had been raining all night, and we're pretty sure that there's going to be snow. And but we headed out anyway. We delayed. We went to a monastery, and then we took off around noon, and we climbed. And it was challenging, a little muddy to get up and over the first pass. And then we finally got to a juncture where we were going to go make our final ascent. And there were a lot of motorcycles from other groups. We were in the middle of nowhere. There was rain starting again. And I thought that we had shooken it, but we hadn't. And the reports were that Umling-la was snowed out. And we needed to make a decision that, anybody that climbs mountains or a hunter, anybody that definitely mountain climbers, they understand that if it's not in the cards, it's not in the cards, and it just didn't seem like it for us. So we went to another plan B, and Anu led us down the another way back to Hanle, and what we did, we ended up going up an unknown pass, which was basically a military pass. And we pushed it. We went all the way up to my altimeter said 17,800 feet. And I don't think this is even on the highest motorable passes in the world. It's just a trek for the military boys to be able to use in case of an emergency, really. It was a great road. There was nobody on it, but what happened?
Yeah. We hit 17.8 and on as somewhere around 16,000 feet, we started getting quite a bit of snow and on the road. It was sorry, snow on the sides of the road. The road itself was still clear. Something at 17.8 that whether it was a difference in texture, different in road material, the snow accumulated there to the point that we could not travel further. It was 4 or 5 inches deep and it was super slick snow. We had to make the decision to turn around. So what was supposed to be a shortcut turned into an out and back. And we wound up riding, I think we wound up riding about 7 hours that day. What was cool about it is that number one, that military pass was awesome. But coming back down into Hanle, so we had gone up and the vast scale of that valley that we got to drive through, and this was quite a bit of this was off road. So it was, for those of us that love off road riding, just a spectacular ride up. Spectacular riding on the switchbacks, and then we turn around and got to come back down that, and it was for those of you that love riding, the closest to flying that you ever get. It was just extraordinary coming back down in that valley and getting to just see for miles, just see for I mean the horizon. It was incredible.
Yeah, we had this fluvial plain that we were riding, so it was just this gradual descent. And you can make up, it was like Mongolia where you could just make up your own track. It was all flat and uniform, and we all spread out. The sun was setting, the sky opened up, you could see forever, and it was that moment. Wow. Even though we didn't make it to the goal, the Umling-la, I think that our sojourn and the ride back, that had to have been the highlight. I mean, everybody went on and on about it, how finally it was just, it was a dream is what it was.
It's a bit of moment of peace and chaos, right? I mean, where you're, you can just let your mind wander and enjoy the ride.
That was Robert Morgan talking about riding motorcycles in India. And if you want to learn anything else about 10-minute travels, check out 10minutetravels.com.
And we want to remind you to make sure that your sense of humor matches your sense of adventure. And please like, subscribe, and share this podcast on all the platforms.